You're listening to NT Paranormal After Dark. Nothing normal about it.
So, it's been a while since you've been on the show. Like a long while.
Yeah.
And I'm super happy you're here.
I am too. It's been so long.
Like, I actually haven't even seen you since the last time you were on the show. Yeah. So, what was it like in the other dimension? I assume you weren't here because you were in the great beyond doing research for NT Paranormal.
It's cold. Mostly wet.
little moist.
A little moist.
I like your new glasses.
Thank you.
I feel like the wrong Allie came back from the alternate dimension.
Like, oh God, what was I watching? South Park. I was watching the Future Me episode. I was watching that the other day.
I don't think we get questions sometimes, like, well, why wasn't so-and-so on the, y'all are totally echoing. That's weird. I don't know why. I'm not, I bet I know why. Hold on a second. Volume mixer. There we go. Let's do that. Not echoing on mine. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel we get a lot of feedback about like
Sounds.
the audio stuff, and I really feel like it's on their end a lot of time because I go back. I know when y'all were doing Strictly Sickly, I know what caused that, but
yeah, that was fun.
I think there was just a feedback loop, but if Kat says we're not echoing, then I think we're good. But we get like, well, why is so and so not on the show, or why is so and so not in this investigation? Dude, we all have, like, real work schedules.
Yeah, and
like,
my
that's
schedule is definitely not conducive to doing the podcast on the normal day anymore.
Yeah. And we've had to switch the normal day, like, 10, 15 times. Now normally we do Fridays. Today we're doing Saturdays or whatever, so that you and Sarah was going to be here, but she's, like, thrown up. So
she needs to stop that.
Yeah, that's a thing.
You hear me, Sarah? Stop throwing up.
I don't even think she's watching. She's probably asleep. Yeah, Amelia says we're good on the sound. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. I probably need to do an episode on that, like balancing work life.
Yeah,
with
work-life
it,
balance.
On one of the episodes where I just do it on my own, one of the solo ones. Of course, we got one coming up with Casey. We're still trying to figure out what topic we want to do. We're trying to find something from the region he's from, so we're trying to find like some hillbilly paranormal thing or whatever.
Well, shit, all you need is a Squatch.
But now that we've actually achieved purchasing an EEG, really brilliant idea, and I don't think we've done a full episode on the Philip experiment, and I'd really like to see Casey's take on the Philip experiment, like, because I don't think he was in on the original conversation where we kind of talked about it a little bit, but the psychology of it, like mass hysteria, things like that. So
yeah, we should definitely do that.
Yeah,
if not
I might
before
propose
the
that
Yoakum.
one soon. Yeah,
maybe not. If not before, but maybe right after the
Yoakum is in
hospital.
3 weeks, and I am just like stoked about it, and I'm really happy we've got the EEG before that, because that is going to be really intense. There's going to be a lot of isolation experiments. You're going to have to do an isolation experiment.
Yeah, I'm not too thrilled about that one, but I am excited about being hooked up. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But I am.
You haven't done an isolation experiment in the field yet.
I thought I did once, but it didn't go well. It didn't last very long.
I don't know if your anxiety is worse than mine or vice versa on that, but I do not. I talk a whole lot of game, but I do not like being left alone in big places. And me and Casey were talking about it a little bit, like not the deets on it, but we've both been having nightmares, like frequent reoccurring nightmares about this upcoming investigation.
I actually, I haven't had any nightmares about that. not at all. I'm pretty stoked.
I mean,
about it.
Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't had it, considering you're our nightmare person, our official see things in my dreams person, I guess.
I've only had the only nightmare I've really had that really, was the one about Kyle. And
yeah,
that's where we're going next.
I don't, I'm really surprised. I have I guess call it chronic nightmare for lack of a better thing, but I have frequent my dreams are usually nightmares, which isn't like a big deal. It sounds more debilitating than it is. But I don't have nightmares about our cases before or after.
I've only had the one. And
but man, I have just been ingrained in this yokum thing, and I don't know if it's because I'm not one of the control people on it, so I don't know if it's that I've seen some of the stuff that other groups have caught and been evaluating that. I guess it's just been on my mind.
And I mean, I don't know if you wanted me to or not, but I've been kind of purposely keeping myself in the dark.
Yeah, you're one of the controls.
Yeah, so
Casey's a control. Me and Sarah both are in the know on this one.
Yeah, so I mean, I barely even know where we're going. So
yeah, there's so much more history to it than I thought. I don't know, but I don't want to make the show about that. We're here to talk about a very, very ingrained Texas thing.
Yeah,
all the way south of the border. It's the Chupathingy.
The Chupacabra.
Chupathingy.
Whoa.
Let's see. What do we got? Oh, that's weird. I like how that just popped up like a doorbell. I don't know if they heard it. People wanting to join the group. Chupathingy. What the hell is that? I thought the Chupathingy was this old legend going back. It turns out the very first thing of it was in 1995.
Yeah, and I thought it was too. I remember and I guess it makes sense because the first documentary I ever saw about a Chupacabra was when I was little, and I was watching Discovery Channel constantly. As my mother could attest to, that's all I watched was Discovery Channel, day and night. And
I thought she was going to say just the Chupacabra documentary. That's all she watched.
No.
That and Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I watched Chupacabra documentaries in Jurassic Park.
So it's weird. I thought the Chupacabra was a dog mammal looking thing, and then I got when I started looking at just the general what the hell is the Chupacabra, right? You get these really kick ass lizard. It's like lizard thing. Or whatever, and then there's apparently there's different types of Chupacabra. They're from different countries, so they probably speak different languages.
Right, and there's probably different breeds, and they probably they probably have some sort of currency. You never know. They live underground.
The Chupacabra or Chupacabra's Spanish pronunciation is Chupacabras. Chupacabra, man.
Wow, way to be slightly racist.
It's not racist. That's just it's just a dialect. Jesus. Chupacabra translates literally to goat sucker. Yes.
Chupa means goat.
Which ironically is
Chupa means sucker, and goat and cabra means goat.
Which is ironically the same nickname as some of our politicians, the goat sucker. I've seen a 6-foot rabbit in a field in Fredericksburg. Watch it.
No.
It's 20 minutes.
I think that's more terrifying than a Chupacabra.
Jesus. That's
intense.
Terrifying. That's some Donnie Darko jackalope crap right there. Chupar to suck, cobber, goat. It's a legendary creature in the folklore of parts of the Americas, with its first purported sighting reported in Puerto Rico. The name comes from the animal's reported habit of attacking and drinking the blood of livestock, including goats. Physical descriptions of the creature vary. It is purportedly a heavy creature the size of a small bear, with a row of spines reaching from the neck to the base of its tail. Jesus, a bear? That's not what I had in my head.
Yeah, that's not what I had in my head either.
This is terrifying. Eyewitness sightings have been claimed in Puerto Rico and have since been reported as far north as Maine. I didn't know it was that far north. And as far south as Chile. And even being spotted outside the Americas in countries like Russia and the Philippines. Okay, so this is getting around. Chupa likes to travel. He's a Chupa traveler. But many of the reports have been disregarded as uncorroborated. Or, yeah, we'll get into why it's not real. Let's entertain Chupathingy for a little while. I like thinking about this thing.
I love the Chupacabra. I think probably that's, I don't know, I'd have to say out of all the cryptids is probably one of my favorites.
Sounds like vampire version of man bear pig. That's what I'm going with. It's like this. I love the and we don't investigate them enough. And maybe it's just because we don't get a lot of reports.
No.
But I like the cryptozoological paranormal sightings.
Well, I think I like it because it's to me it's more fun. You know,
I don't know if it's more fun because if you actually find one in the wilderness, I don't think it's going to be fun anymore. Like I would much rather stumble across a ghost and be like, ooh, and I'll be like, oh, that's a thing. Ooh, kind of scary. You got the flurries going. But you know, if I run into Bigfoot, Chupacabra, man bat, man bear pig, Mothman, any of these things out in the woods alone at night, I'm going to crap myself in the fetal position crying because it can kill you.
Well, man bear pig. Well, you know, that's South Park, dude. That's Al Gore.
Damn it, Sharon. It's just not purportedly possible. It's right behind you. Well, look, science isn't exact. But the thing is, though, is, okay, so of all the supernatural sort of paranormal things and all the UFO sort of sightings and all that, say there's 1,000 reports a year, 0 big fat goose egg can be proven is true. Like none of them out of the and actually I did a thing on Bigfoot a little while back, and the stat was staggering. There are 15,000, that's a lot, 15,000 new species discovered every year of animals. Like 3% of those are considered like cryptozoological things. So sometimes there's a percentage of cryptozoological things that end up being real.
And not to go too far off topic, but do you remember like any I don't know if you ever looked up any of the stories about people coming across big cats? Like giant black cats.
Yeah. That was one of the things. Yeah, the giant for like 15 years, people were seeing these like big giant black panthers in North America, and every expert on the planet was saying, no, that's not a thing. You know, you just saw a regular house cat, and the perspective was distorted, whatever. And finally, and I don't know why this is always the thing.
These were like big enough that like they
someone hit one with someone took one out with their damn car. And it turned out, and it wasn't a panther. It was a leopard that with pigmentation or whatever. But it was a thing.
Well, I mean, that's what all black panthers are. They're leopards, but they just have like the dark pigmentation.
Yeah. This was different than or maybe it was a jaguar. I don't know. It ended up being like, hey, it's still a cat. It's just not that cat.
It's just a big cat.
Turns out there's some black ones. Oops, and they had to classify it.
Or another one that I find fascinating.
And it's always Louisiana they find it, too.
That makes sense. But another one that I find fascinating that I don't see anybody really talk about is the Native American Thunderbird.
By Pontiac? Pontiac's extinct.
No. No, there is these giant birds. Listen to me. I saw a documentary on it once, and like,
yeah, it's a V8 8-cylinder engine.
I'm gonna throw shit at you, Brad.
has a land speed of like 130 miles per hour with a governor.
Listen, they used to tell their children not to be alone because these things would eat them. And that's how you, because like there were these giant birds that had like these massive wingspans that were like the size of small planes that would take off with their children.
Yeah, because albatross is currently the biggest or whatever.
Yeah,
the
but
Thunderbird outsize that.
Yeah, like whenever you get a chance, look it up because it's been a long time since I've heard anything about it. But I was thinking about it. I was like, man, Thunderbirds are cool.
We'll have to do a show on Thunderbirds now, and the Black Cat of Louisiana, and Willie Nelson.
Oh, I could always do a show on Uncle Willie. That's what my dad used to call him, Uncle Willie.
Uncle Willie.
Uncle Willie.
Well, he's old enough now. He's pretty much a paranormal topic because he just looks like the crypt keeper at this point.
Yeah.
It's gonna be sad when Willie passes.
Don't talk about it. Don't. Just shut your mouth. Willie ain't going nowhere.
Okay. It's a thing. So, Chupathingy, it's like a reptilian vamp. Oh, that's the other cryptozoological thing. The
reptoids.
Yeah.
Reptoids?
But they're posing as human. I wonder if the Chupacabra is an offshoot, like the rogue ones.
Or like maybe they're dogs. You know, like that's like their pets, but they get out and they eat our livestock.
I mean, I'm down for, like some goat. I like goat. Goat's good.
Yeah.
It's a little fatty, but...
I don't eat meat anymore, so...
Well, you're definitely not a reptilian.
No, I'm not. Unless I'm an iguana. Iguanas are vegetarian.
Herbivore.
Mm-hmm. But, what was I going to say?
I'm a metasaurus. You're a veggiesaurus.
I am. They remind me... I was looking at the picture. What was it? Land of the Lost.
Yeah, and Journey to the Center of the Earth. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's exactly what this picture looks like. In the picture I always see, it's coyote with mange, is what it is.
I hit a chupacabra once. I hit it with my car.
But okay, so I thought Chupacabra was this like old legend. It turns out it just goes back to like 1995. Like you know what is older than the story of the Chupacabra? The Matrix. That's how recent this is.
And that's weird because like I remember growing up thinking, I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like, this is a thing. I thought it was, like, ancient, but I guess not.
The first reported attack attributed to the creature occurred in March 1995 in Puerto Rico. 8 sheep were discovered dead. And see, this is where it falls apart, right? It's the goat sucker, but the first things killed by it were sheep. So shouldn't it be the Chupacabra?
Or, I don't know, maybe it just doesn't...
Or no, the Chupa sheep. Or...
Chupa sheep.
Each of the 3 puncture wounds in the chest area, each with 3 puncture wounds in the chest area and completely drained of blood. A few months later in August, an eyewitness, Madeline Tolentino, I am butchering that name, reported, I'm not Puerto Rican, and I don't speak any form of Spanish, reported seeing the creature in Puerto Rican town of... as many as 154 animals and pets were reportedly killed. In 1975, similar killings in the small town of Mocha were attributed to El Vampiro de Mocha, the vampire of Mocha. Man,
I'm the vampire.
I can speak Spanish.
I'm the vampire of Mocha.
Initially, it was suspected that the killings were committed by a satanic cult. Later, more killings were reported around the island, and many farms reported loss of animal life. Each of the animals were reported to have its body bled dry through sanguination. It was, and
they bled to death, yeah.
Yeah, Puerto Rican comedian and entrepreneurs. Okay, I should have read this beforehand. I didn't realize that this was... that the chief consultant on this was Puerto Rican comedian and entrepreneur Silvio Perez, is credited with coining the term Chupacabra soon after the first incidents were reported in the press. Shortly after the first reported incidents in Puerto Rico, other animal deaths were reported in countries such as the Dominican Republic, Argentina, Bolivia, Chile, Colombia, Honduras, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Panama, Peru, Brazil, United States, and Mexico.
So it seems like it's in areas that it's coming from our forest and jungle, and so like there may be like a forest jungle inhabitants, except for like northern Mexico and southern Texas, which is like desert and brush.
Yeah, that's what's weird is so all the areas where it's like reported, they're all way different like climates. So it's very obvious.
I don't know. It's all warm.
It's all warm, but you have one's like rainforest, like,
and then arid.
Yeah, and then you have like normally you don't have the same things in the like it's both hot, but it's dry heat, It's
you have your wet heat and you have your dry heat.
Normally you don't have the same things in the desert that you do in the Amazon rainforest.
Well, I mean, or like something.
Or am I totally off base on my geography?
Well, I don't. I think it's not really that you would have two different things. You would have different variations as opposed to totally different species.
Well, I mean, like Kat said, it's the difference between hot and moist. What? Never mind. Screw that joke.
Just laugh it out.
By the way, Catherine Heath's birthday is coming up.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Next Friday. You want to go?
I gotta work till 11.
They're doing karaoke.
Where?
I don't know. I haven't been told yet. Everybody, our like number 2 fan, Catherine Heath's birthday is next Friday. They're doing karaoke somewhere. Everybody's invited.
Just hit up all of your local karaoke taverns.
Yeah, suck on that. I just announced that on like a national syndicated podcast. So,
poor Catherine.
All these like weird people are gonna show up like, hey, I heard about your party on that Chupathingy, so I brought you lizards. I'd be cool with it. What were you saying? I
don't even know anymore. So maybe there, how life mutates and varies, like there's two different types of toads and 2 different climates. Maybe there's just different variations of Chupacabra. Yeah,
like I believe it was Dr. Malcolm said life finds a way.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Right on the nose, man.
Is it Ian Malcolm?
It's Dr. Ian Malcolm.
Okay. He's an expert.
But I believe the quote is, and I quote, life finds a way. Life
finds a way. So the person named the Chupacabra was a comedian, but the guy that did like the very first like in-depth investigation was Benjamin Radford, and he did a documentary in 2011 called Tracking the Chupacabra, where he knows what it is. He figured it out. But but there are basically 2 different Chupacabras. There's the Puerto Rican Chupacabra, which is the one that we're kind of talking about, where it's like the size of a bear, has spines, sucks all the blood out of things, and
it's just more terrifying than the Land of the Lost variety that I figured.
Well, this is going to be very, very important a little bit later on in the discussion, but apparently its description just matches Natasha Henstridge. That's basically what they were describing, is Natasha Henstridge from Species when she's, banging Michael Madsen. Yeah.
That's not terrifying at all.
Oh, that's horrifying, because it's the ripoff of Aliens, but still designed by H.R. Geiger. So, it is what it is. So, in Puerto Rico, Natasha Henstridge is going around sucking goats. I didn't say that. So that's what's going on.
Warning.
Trigger warning. The one that spotted like New Mexico, Texas, the one we're more familiar with is the one that looks like a mammal, like a dog, and it's like looks like this really gnarly like werewolf looking thing, and it still sucks blood or whatever and purportedly attacks livestock, but it's just very different in physical stature,
basically kind of like a mangy dog, or a mangy wolf.
Now see, I'm sitting here talking about this description, what I'm reading. You have actually seen a Chupathingy.
Oh yeah, I hit
in person.
I hit it with my car. It's dead.
It's cool, guys. All right, that's it for the show. She got it. Everybody's safe.
I solved the Chupathingy.
Solved the mystery. What'd you do with it?
I left. I don't know.
What the? You just left it?
I felt bad.
You felt bad for it, so you left it dying in the road?
It was already dead.
Was it already dead before you hit it, or did you hit it as it was going across the road?
It was like walking across the road.
How many things have you hit with your car?
Like mammals.
I like how that there's a pause and a qualifier before that.
I've only hit 3 mammals and like 18 birds.
You're driving. I love you, hon, but your driving record is so bad that when we were dating and I tried to put you on my car insurance for a little while, they told me, you don't want to do that. I was like, what are you talking about? They're like, don't do that. I was like, all right, just put my name on it, I guess.
So I was driving down 171. I was driving home from Sarah's house, and 171 is a very dark road. There's
171,
no lights.
It's
going towards Godly.
Okay, so between Cleveland and oh, okay, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
okay.
it's just dark.
Yeah.
Dark, completely dark. And I was driving down the road, and like I just see something, and I didn't have time to stop because like it was dark. It was whatever I hit was black, like the night around it, and so like I didn't have time to stop because it just came out of nowhere. And
so you're saying it was a creature that was dark as night?
Yes.
Okay.
So it could have been Chupacabra, could have been Batman. I don't know. Like, so I hit it. And
Amelia wants to know how many fish that you've hit, because we're now we have to categorize the things you've hit by phylum, so you don't have to make the list so long.
I have not hit a fish.
Didn't you like hit not hit a deer, but then it stuck its head in your window or something?
No, the deer hit me.
Did that count in your previous?
Yes.
Okay.
No, the deer hit me. I have a witness, but she's not here right now.
And you hit her while she was in your car once.
Yeah. So, anyway, back to the dead Chupacabra. So, I hit it, and then I did the thing, like, it was a very dark road. There was nothing nearby, and then I did the thing you're not supposed to do, which is I got out of the car. I completely ignored horror movie rules. I got out the car to take a look at it. Make sure it wasn't hurt or anything like that. And, I'm on the, I called Sarah, and I was like, hey... I hit a thing with my car, and it had no...
Let me guess. Again?
It had like no fur. It was all skin, and, it was dead. It was dead. It was so dead.
So it had no... It was just...
And like I told her, like, I'm pretty sure it just hit the Chupacabra.
So seriously, what did it look like?
I really.
I know you don't really think it was.
I think it was a diseased and dying coyote. I really do, because it was lanky and it had no fur, and so whatever was gonna happen to it, I think it was gonna die anyway. Not that it matters. Like I still felt really bad. Like I'm not going around just hitting animals willy nilly. Like I. Just...
Well, no, you are doing that constantly.
So, and it just
that
it was
171 is a pretty dangerous road, because
I
almost hit something the other day going towards Cleveland. Actually, it was because you've got the trains on the left side, and Godley's kind of expanding out that way, which is like kind of invading into like some natural habitats and stuff.
At the time, Godley was nothing was expanding out there at all. There was nothing, absolutely nothing where I was, and so there was no lights. Like the only light that I had was my car.
Julie said you hit it with a car and you think it might not be hurt. Now look, I can vouch for this. I have hit stuff with my car and it just get up, give me the finger, and walk off, because everything's bigger in Texas.
Yeah, no, the deer that hit my car ran off.
That's mostly a southern thing, hitting things with your car. Like,
you would think, but I've hit a lot of birds, and I'm the only person I know that's hit as many birds as I have.
Like a Thunderbird?
No,
Like a Pontiac Thunderbird.
No, have not hit one of those yet.
It's a classic. Shit, I lost my place. But yeah, you're well acquainted with nature, and so,
you could say that.
like, you're just really in tune with it. You're like the opposite of Elsa, just
like everything, just like, oh hey, there she is.
There's Disney princesses, and then there's Allie, who's like, they can like call them, and Allie's like, meh, meh, and they're like, get the fuck out of here. But what you hit matched more closely the description of the
Southwestern.
Yeah, which we're in the Southwest, so it makes sense. But a lot of those are debunked as things with mage. I got some footage of the Chupacabra. I hadn't showed this to you yet, have I?
No, you haven't. You haven't showed me.
Okay.
So I'm pretty excited. I want to see it.
Okay, so let me bring this up here. Scott Black
saw a creature.
This is a legitimate news report. Here we go.
That looks like he was like black, like he had dark skin.
Okay, birds are suicidal. That's true. So are bunnies. We have a road here we call Bunny Kill Road.
Yep.
I think Allie named that, or was that?
No, that was Sarah. That was before I started hanging out with her, like a long time ago. When
Ryan hit a raccoon and ripped a chunk out of Allie's car last week. Okay, yeah, dude, because we have like mutant raccoons here. This has turned into a car show featuring the Pontiac Thunderbird. Brought to you by the 1975 Pontiac Thunderbird 4-door sedan. No longer in. Okay, so I'm gonna play this clip.
Telling you, the Thunderbird mythos is real.
Okay.
You got a raccoon on one side, he's running from him.
These paw prints along the Buffalo Bayou in the Memorial area reveal that the him could be the this in these photos. They were snapped last Sunday in the backyard of these gated condos near Gessner and Dolliver. It was the third sighting of the animal in just the past 11 days. At least one man is convinced it could be the legendary Chupacabra.
Big, long, pointy ears, long tail, had no skin, or no fur rather, but on its skin you could see spotches of gray.
Scott Black has seen the animal 4 times in all, each instance right outside his back door. After seeing the photos, a trapper from Ohio visited, then sent Black this cage to try to capture it. We brought in local animal control expert Claude Griffin to assess the situation.
So look how long that leg is right there.
Griffin says while many will pass off the animal as a coyote, the physical characteristics appear to be a possible combination of several canine species, from a coyote to a domesticated breed to a dingo. He says he's seen it before in the Houston area, which has a higher number of exotic pet owners than many people realize.
People are actually inbreeding the animals and letting them go, and actually going out there and claiming that they're catching them. So they are practicing the perfection of inbreeding.
Yeah, if anybody's practicing the perfection of inbreeding, it's going to be Southerners.
Well, it's not actually that uncommon. Like, coyotes have been breeding with dogs that get loose, and also like it was some news thing that like I guess like wolves and coyotes are mating. I mean, I don't see why
it's a thing that happens. I mean, I don't know why. I don't know what the freaking mystery was there. He's like, I saw it. It had a long tail and no skin. People were gonna say it's a coyote because it's a coyote.
Yeah, that looked like a coyote, but I mean,
no. It had that elongated leg. Can't be a coyote. It looked a little funny.
Buffalo Bayou is a floodplain. Like, that's what usually, like, isn't that the area that usually floods when Houston gets hurricanes, or whenever hurricanes and stuff hit, and that usually the area that usually floods the most?
Well, now it's the entire city.
Oh, well, yeah. So, but I'm just thinking, I was wondering if there's, like, a correlation between, like, water and, I mean, I guess the only correlation would be livestock. I'm trying to make things happen. It's just not happening.
Science, you're trying to science. I wrote science down for you right there. I mean, that's not dumb. I mean, you're talking about her. You know, animals get displaced out of their habitat, things like that. So stuff that you normally wouldn't see gets flushed out. And that's a thing. Like, it's out in the wild. It's not like coyotes get a whole lot of vet care. It's a whole multitude of animals, wild dogs, things like that. Anything that's out there, mutts. Where there's a whole bunch of inbreeding. There's a lot of mange and stuff, but the ones that, especially coyotes, because they're nocturnal. Like a lot of the scavengers come out at night mostly.
Mostly.
That was actually an accident, but it was a happy accident.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then when like there's environmental displacement, like through hurricanes or deforestation, things like that, you start seeing more of those things. But what we were talking about earlier was the correlation to global warming, and not exactly just that. We're like, oh, global warming is just
climate change.
Yeah, but I mean, you go ahead. It's your fun fact.
I like fun facts.
Fun fact, Allie, the Thunderbird, brought to you by the 1979 Pontiac Thunderbird.
Go fuck yourself. More people are finding Chupa corpses because of climate change since...
I like how you used my... You didn't have to do that. I'm just putting Chupa in front of it. This is my Chupa. It's like Batman. It can't be it's a batarang. It's a bat cycle. It's a bat suit.
I like Chupa corpses.
Chupa corpse. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
People are finding more Chupa corpses due to climate change since most are found in but what? I can't.
What the F?
I can't read. Since most are found with I can't read handwriting.
Specimen?
Yeah. Thank you. Since most found specimens are animals with very advanced mange, and since
right, so like what we're looking at here is probably like something with mange, but but global warming has a lot to do with that, because what I saw was if you're an animal that has mange, those animals typically have a shorter lifespan, because as soon as it gets to the cold seasons or whatever,
they freeze to death.
They die off because of global warming.
Well, not only that, they're also more susceptible to infection, disease, stuff like that, because they don't have that. They don't have any kind of protection from. I mean, it's just like walking around without your skin.
Right. So you normally don't see animals with advanced mange, because as soon as you get to the colder seasons, they die off, and they die like out in the wilderness, and you don't see them. We're seeing more of these strange looking animals with really advanced mange because they're living longer, because there are shorter cold snaps. In the cold snaps aren't as tough in certain areas, things like that. So it's weird. More corpses are showing up because diseased animals are living longer.
Yeah.
So what it is just bringing it more out, and that makes sense. If your older sightings are 1995, that's really when global, like, our climate change is starting to ramp up.
And people have been talking about climate change since like decades before that. People have talking about climate.
100% they come out at night. Some of the times. Oh, I thought he was going to do another aliens. I think Allie should start documenting all the animals she hits. This is truth. Yes.
Thank you, Catherine.
You're catching more evidence of the Chupacabra than I have ever caught of a spirit. So, and it was all with that fucking cobalt. So,
dude, yeah, no, I hit a bird the first week I had my Nissan.
They fly, right? Like
they fly. No, they fly at my car. They fly.
Am I the only one that gets insulted when you see a bird walking? Like, it just pisses me off. I'm like, what are you doing? You can fly, animal.
It's because they're arrogant and they deserve to die.
And they got that stupid that they just like look at you and they're like, give me your bread, bitch. And I'm like, fly away. And they don't care. You bum rush them and they're just like, eh.
Well, that's because we live in the city and they don't care.
And then when they do fly, they just shit on you. Southern taxidermy at its finest. Yes. Allie. You should be like you should work for Uber Eats and just like take people the roadkill you hit on the way. Or
like, guys,
You really are an alley cat because you just bring little presents.
I do. I leave presents everywhere I
Because
go.
you think we suck at hunting.
Well, you're doing it with the wrong vehicle, obviously.
First the deer, now the birds. Yeah, there's nothing she hasn't hit. Other cars.
I haven't hit a person. No, I haven't had a person.
She had to think about it because she just leaves them to die, apparently. So
It was already dead. It was already dead.
that's what you do when you run across a corpse. Where are we at? I lost track of the show.
We were talking about climate change, how it would lead to more sightings of the Chupathingy.
So yeah, since it's warmer, you don't need as much fur and things like that, so you're living longer. So these animals are getting to more advanced stages of mange, and that's what's getting found. I remember watching the documentary on the Chupacabra, and the lady had found it and had the damn thing stuffed, taxidermied, and had it in her house. And then they came to do the documentary, and they took some skin, did some DNA testing. And they're like, hey, yeah, it's a coyote with mange.
God, I love Texas.
It's just, yeah, and she's just like, it's my Chupacabra. And then they showed her the evidence, and she's just like, nah, that's bullshit. DNA testing is, flawed. I know it's Chupacabra. I named him Larry.
And that's a lot of it is, once a person's been convinced, it's kind of hard to unconvince them.
I think if somebody DNA tested my Chupacabra and said, hey, this is a coyote, I would probably be like, oh.
Well, I mean,
it really reminds me of that scene from Joe Dirt when he thinks he's got a meteorite.
Yeah. But, I mean, that's just human nature. Nobody likes being told that they're wrong, so they double down. We can come up with a lot of evidence on that, but we won't talk about that.
So there was the Puerto Rican Chupacabra is different, though. That's the one. It's the size of a bear.
Yeah, that's the one that's more lizardy.
Very Natasha Henstridge. And I make that joke because very respected researcher. He was really interested in it. That's the one that was spotted in 1995, the one that kicked off the whole thing. And he went down and interviewed the lady, dug into all the evidence. I mean, you can. I'll put up the link for it later. But he did a whole bunch of research on it because he really wanted to find this thing. He's like, man, that'd be really awesome if we found this new species of something down there. And so he's like on the train. He's not getting it to connect. He can't find it. He's getting really frustrated. And he's sitting here, and what's happening is he's sitting here at his desk in his hotel in Puerto Rico, and he's looking at the sketches and the monster that he's put together and the descriptions and all that. And then Species comes on the TV because they had just got it down there a couple of years before, And he's like, wait a minute, this thing looks like this thing. It's like, this movie's been out a few years, but there ain't no way. And they realize it didn't get released down there until around the same time. And he's like, hey, have you seen this movie? She's like, oh yeah, I was watching that movie when I looked out the window and saw the creature, or what. Just God dang it. And
so they're thinking maybe the movie Species has a lot to do with Chupacabra sightings.
They're not just thinking it. They're pretty much sure that this lady just watched Species and heard a thing outside and went to the window and was like, it's a species.
I don't know. I want to believe, man.
I always want to believe, but very commonly it seems like a bad idea.
They seem like my kind of people. They're warm weather, lizard-like.
You're not going to trick me again because I just did a Google search on a Pontiac, and the Thunderbird was not a Pontiac. It never existed. It did. I'm making it up. You're rubbing your boob on the mic.
Making me act unprofessional.
That's fine. But, I mean, so, a lot of people have gone looking for this Chupacabra. A lot of people have spotted it. There's a lot of evidence that the Chupacabra is not a thing. Yet, why does it keep persisting, do you think? Why is this just something... Because it's relatively new.
I could honestly think look to the most current example of a hoax that turned out to be true. The Momo thing. The Momo hoax.
Yeah. I was actually thinking about doing get out of my head.
But I mean, think about how many people fell for it.
Yeah.
And
it is an urban legend, right? Like, I'm not dumb.
No, I mean, I don't know anymore. I don't know.
Like, I keep seeing the stupid picture around, but like the video hasn't popped up anywhere. No one can really point me to it, and they're like, "Oh, well, like pops up if you watch a thing." Well, okay, well, like if you're watching YouTube videos, it has to be like in the video, and nobody can point me to a link of this stupid thing. But the Chupacabra thing persists. Like that is a legitimate article from the Texas Observer.
Oh yeah,
talking about like it keeps getting coverage. Do you think it can? Do you think there is a thing? Because here's the deal. Okay, so they're finding coyotes out there with mange, or they found the species thing or whatever. So, but here's the deal. I haven't seen an explanation for what's causing the sanguination.
Yeah, that is from what I understand. That is the only thing that I can think of that doesn't have a real besides bats. I mean, bats are native.
But they're not going to sanguinate an entire cow. They're not going to sanguinate an entire goat, sheep, person.
Bless you.
I mean, what does that? Are there any explanations for those things? Aliens. Farmers banging cows, but it's
that one. I mean, there is probably a thing going out drinking the blood of animals
because everything I looked up was like, oh yeah, it explains like these animal attacks and stuff like that. Okay, like if the animals like shredded up or whatever, but they're finding animals that the original
that are
just
just
sheep,
being bled out,
just 3 holes in the chest, just being bled out.
Yeah, they're not
other than hoax. I mean, the farmer.
But why would anyone do that to their own livestock?
Attention, publicity.
But that is so much money. That's the thing. A lot of these people that
I don't see that happening in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, that's their own money. I mean, that's expensive. That's
well,
money
I mean, what if they were planning on slaughtering the animal anyway?
Well, and that's
I don't know. It sits out there to rot. Like, yeah, I can't unless you're already like.
I mean, but even then,
steeped in money.
Yeah, it's just, but okay, so they're not. These animals aren't disemboweled at all.
No, it's just a blood drain. And by the way, that is very hard to do through puncturing. Like if you want to drain a mammal, specifically of blood, you have to got to get it at the feet and without like devices. Basically,
yeah, you'd have to drain and suck. Like, I mean, you'd have to puncture, and then something would have to suck the blood out.
You have to suck a cabra.
Yeah, unless you get it right in the jugular, but that would be messy. These animals aren't covered in blood. They're not, because I think like one of the pictures I saw, it was a white goat, or it was either a white goat or a sheep. And
going to Orcha.
And
white devil.
And then so. They weren't covered in blood, so it's not like they were like, they weren't disemboweled, they weren't anything like that. So, what would cause that? What would cause that?
And Kat says, "And where did all the blood go? Like it's not like it was let out onto the ground or whatever."
Because that would be easy to find.
That is the weird part of the case. Like I'm totally fine with the things people hit or catch or whatever. It's like, okay, this is a maned animal, but there is something. There is a phenomenon where animals are showing up, just DOA, and they don't have any blood in them, and it doesn't.
They're deflated.
It doesn't have to be Chupacabra. I mean, that is a thing that's been happening for a long time. People finding cows just sanguinated or. A lot of times, just and like if it's all cut up or whatever, then you can say it's like kids or poachers or whatever,
or mountain lion or.
But I mean, yeah,
but
draining
even then, there
something
wouldn't be anything
blood.
left.
And I know that vampire bats are a thing. They come and
but they can't. They're so small. They can't.
Yeah, they're like the size of fruit. I don't think people realize the size a legitimate vampire bat is.
They fit in like the palm of your hand.
I know they're cute, and I want one.
But
I love sky puppies.
like, and they can't even drink that much blood unless you have like a whole troop of them, and even then they would be covered and they would still survive. Like the animals would still survive. They only drink like maybe just like a spoonful of blood.
yeah.
So it would take like an entire colony to drain an animal that size.
So logically, ideas what could do that? Besides mystery thing, take all the other crap out of the equation. So you could go out there and do it with medical equipment. Yeah. That's the only way I can see to do it in that style where you don't end up with the blood. You could go out there with more crude equipment and do the same thing, but you're going to spill blood in places. There's going to be bigger puncture wounds.
The animals are going to be covered in blood. It's just that's what.
Here's the other thing: if the animal's being attacked, wouldn't it cry out like people? And it's people are just finding it the next day. I mean, if it's like way off in the pasture, right? Yeah, you probably don't hear it up at the house, but like
I don't know.
But it's happened to horses. Horses are
loud.
Yeah.
Cows are very loud. Sheep are loud. I don't know if you realize how loud sheep can be. Goats.
Have the sheep? Oh, what is it? Have the lamb stopped crying, Allie?
No, they don't stop until I hit them.
That's the only way to make them stop.
So that's the part that gets me is like, I mean, animals are, especially when they are being hurt or anything like that, they are very, very loud.
Well, and birthday girl here is like, why 3 holes? Why not 2, 4, 3? And I always thought it was stupid that there'd be 2 holes for vampires. Even like the classic idea of vampire, you're not getting that much blood out that way. It's dumb. Like even right there on the jugular where the heart's pumping it out, but it's going to be more messy. Like if you were. And even with the medical equipment, like what we're talking about or whatever, they when they use the catheter that attaches to that equipment for like switching out your blood, and that sucker's like 10 millimeters. It's big around.
Okay, so
I don't think a nurse can correct me if they want.
So, okay, theoretically, let's say, okay, whatever creature is doing this, okay, leeches and even vampire bats and most animals that do feed off of blood will release a chemical that will keep you from feeling that pain. They'll release kind of like almost like a lidocaine type substance,
like an oxytocin, or kind of like how we use succinylcholine.
Yeah. So.
Ooh, yeah, science thing.
So a lot of times they'll do that so they don't feel it. But they also don't keep feeding until the animal's dead.
Okay, so I've got the report here by Benjamin Radford. Let me read. I can't remember what he said about what we're talking about here. So this was a 5-year investigation. It took him 5 years to come to the conclusion that Natasha Henstridge was the thing. In his 2011 book, Tracking the Chupacabra, concluded the description given by the original eyewitness in Puerto Rico, Madeline, it was based on a creature still in the 1995 science fiction horror film Species. The alien creature Syl is nearly identical to Tolino's Chupacabra eyewitness account, and she had seen the movie just before her report. It was a creature that looked like the Chupacabra with the spines on its back and all. The resemblance to the Chupacabra was really impressive. He reported Radford revealed that he believed the creatures and events he saw in Species were happening. She believed that the creatures and events she saw in Species were happening in reality in Puerto Rico at the time, and therefore concludes that the most important Chupacabra description cannot be trusted. This, Radford believes, seriously undermines the credibility of the Chupacabra as a real animal. In addition, the reports of blood sucking by the Chupacabra, were never confirmed by necropsy. The only way to conclude, in this case anyway, I know there's other cases of sanguination, but the only way to conclude that the animal was drained of blood, an analysis by a veterinarian of 300 reported victims of the Chupacabra found that they had not been bled dry. So that answers some of the question there. So in a lot of these cases where the animal is reported, it was completely sucked dry, it was completely sanguinated or whatever, it turns out, guess what? It's not.
Well, I mean, it's just it bled out enough to make the heart stop. Right? Not all it takes. Am I wrong?
Do what?
Am I stupid? What? Okay.
Well, I mean, yeah, but
I mean, there's got to be like.
I'm just kidding. She's not stupid.
Isn't there like a certain amount of blood that blood loss it takes to make your heart fail?
I don't know, Kat. Hell, I don't know. We don't have our freaking EMT on the show. I don't even know how many liters of blood are in the human body.
There's a lot.
All I know is that when the cat scratches me, like, it looks like all the blood has come out, but I'm still alive somehow. This is not my. I'm a physicist. I don't know.
So I know that there's a certain amount of blood loss, and you could still lose that amount of blood. And
well, and you can die slow. Like, okay, so you can hit like X amount of points. It's not like you just keel over. Like, it takes a while for you to die because your heart can't keep supplying everything that needs to be supplied or whatever. So
it's sucking them dry before they can replenish, and that's what's killing them.
Right? Yeah. It's removed more blood than what your body can reproduce. Because she is diagnosed with schizophrenia. No, 8 pints. She has 8 pints of blood.
That's a lot of blood.
That's about how many beers I can drink before I pass out. So, coincidence? I think not. What comment? Oh, in live, I don't know. Okay, so, but that is a very important thing. So when we're talking about a lot of these cases, and they say, oh, it was completely drained of blood. Well, was it? What? Because according to what I just read, necropsy is the only way you can really confirm that something was complete, or like what level it was drained to. So I feel like part of this urban legend is that this idea that things are just being completely drained is just being tossed around and thrown out and repeated, even though there's no scientific basis to say that is actually what really happened. We know that the animal died. We know that there were 3 holes in it. And we know that there was probably some level of blood loss because the damn thing died. But was it really sucked dry? Was the thing after its blood or whatever? Okay, so that solves some of that, or at least some of those cases. But here's the deal. Why would something go in, puncture it, even if they're not draining it dry, and we're taking this like case by chunks here, but why would it do that? Why would it drain it to the point of dying, and then take off? It didn't eat it.
Maybe it doesn't eat flesh. Maybe it just eats blood.
Well, the only thing I know of that, I guess there's, okay, so leeches do that, mosquitoes,
vampire bats.
So there are instances in nature where things survive solely on hemoglobin. I don't know if that makes them carnivores or not. What would you classify that as a carnivore? Because it has to come from a living thing to get the hemoglobin. Or whatever element is in the blood that's sustaining them.
I don't know.
That's really weird.
I never
that's
even
really
thought about
weird.
that. Like, I mean, they're still feeding off of a living creature, so I would still.
I mean, there's even instances of plants that do that. Venus flytraps.
They're carnivorous.
They're carnivorous.
Yeah.
But they break down the whole body though. So I guess that's not sanguination.
Yeah.
But
no. They break. I mean, like pitcher plants. Venus flytraps, the little sticky things with the little knobbies.
I believe there's like vampiric spiders as well, which would be horrifying to Sarah.
Yeah, that is pretty terrifying. Oh, speaking of, I saw it was
the 1997 Pontiac Thunderbird. No.
Yes, I did. Just need like that sound effect of like the eagle sound.
Yeah, it's on everything. What did you see?
It was a article about a spider in Australia that was roughly the size of a dinner plate that was eating.
You mean that
possum.
same bogus ass article that pops up like
it was
every
eating?
year?
It was dragging off. It was dragging off a possum.
Was it?
Yeah, they have different possums in Australia. They're cute.
I know. Oh, yeah, I know. I was reading an article about that where, like, an Australian person and an American person, they were both talking about it's actually possum versus opossum. Ours is an opossum, but we just call it a possum. And they're talking about it, and like it's one of the few times that our animal is scarier than the Australian version. But they're talking about it in Australia. It's like, what the, like, because the lady was like, yeah, like came and like tried to steal my baby, and I had to like fight it off with a battle axe. And
Why
they're like,
would a possum steal a
I don't
baby?
know. It was like you have to read the whole thread, and they're just like, I don't get it. They're like, opossums are just so cute, and they just sit there and they're like, what are you talking about? It's basically just like a mutant sewer rat, you know, that attacks other things out of spite and hisses like a cockroach. And they're, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, no, Australian possums are cute.
So the Australians sent the picture of the Australian possum. They're like, oh, it's a marmot. And they just replied with the American one, and the Australian was like, oh, crikey. It was great.
Catherine said organ failure starts at 40% blood
That's
loss.
a lot of goddamn blood. That's almost half your blood. You can survive from a lot of blood loss. Mm-hmm. Which would explain a lot of my sessions in the bathroom. Oh, shit, we're live. No.
Anal.
Did you say anal?
Yeah, anal bleeding is not a joke.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
So, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so I guess that's not real, and now I'm very upset.
The Pontiac Thunder? Wait, what are we? Anal bleeding?
No.
Anal bleeding is a real thing.
Oh, no. I know you know.
What does that mean? Stop it. Wrong podcast.
No, I was talking about, like, the giant spider dragging off the possum. Someone Google it.
No, don't freaking Google it. Momo will come up. That's how stupid. No, yeah, I see the pictures. I initially saw them when we were in that last war we were in, Iraq. Where were we?
The camel spiders. Yeah, that's a joke.
Camels. Yeah. It's just a blown up thing. And then, I mean, there are some pretty big damn spiders over there. I don't know that I'm sure there's one the size of a dinner plate, but I don't think it's like a common thing.
I mean, since like the temperatures have been warmer than usual around the planet, it makes sense that they're getting bigger. They're not.
Taryn says there was a teenager who bled to death trying to run to a hospital after it. And that's a thing too. Like, so you could do like 30% blood loss, but if you're trying to get up and like run and move around, your heart's pumping, you're gonna lose more blood. So yeah.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't run.
Yeah. So if you're at 39% blood loss, don't just be like, I got this, and like sign up for a marathon. You'll probably die. But
yeah, no, you should always call 911.
Nice. Or if you're in another country, that other number
999.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyway, giant spiders, cryptids, fun times. But
okay, so we've cracked some of this open. So animals with mange, it's a thing. People hit it. That's not the Chupacabra. That's not a thing. Animals that come up as sanguinated. Supposedly it's reported, but how many of those cases have had necropsy performed on it to really do that? It could only be at like 40. Well, that's for a human that she just did. Organ failure starts at 40% blood loss. Might be different depending on the animal or species of animal or whatever, but let's call it 40% humans. So there could actually just be a lower level of blood loss. So now we're at the question of why just the blood? That's really weird. So I wonder if with the sanguination, if the reports are trumped up where there was some mutilation to the animal, but we're not reporting
hearing about it. Yeah.
Yeah, because
there would have to be, because why isn't the animal covered in blood? Why isn't there blood all over the ground? Why? I need answers. Like, I just want to know.
Well, and to be sure, like, you can always say hoax, like somebody's doing this, but we're looking we're looking for the natural solution. Like, why would this just happen in nature?
Yeah, because like the only reason like that there wouldn't be any blood at the scene is if it was moved. So if someone
it's a caper now.
It was killed somewhere else and then moved. But the animal would still be covered in blood.
I got you. No,
yeah, but the animal would still be covered in blood. And why is it not covered in blood?
because Gwyneth Paltrow needed it, but she doesn't want to get caught using it for her skincare products.
So Goop is doing this.
Yes.
Goop has been doing this since 95.
Damn it, Goop! God damn it, Goop! Quit killing all the mammals. Radford divided the Chupacabra reports into two categories. I already like this guy because he sounds organized. Okay. The reports from Puerto Rico and Latin America where the animals were attacked and is supposed their blood was extracted, and the reports in the United States of mammals, mostly dogs and coyotes with mange, that people call Chupacabra due to their unusual appearance. In late October 2010, the University of Michigan biologist Barry O'Connor, my hero, concluded that all the Chupacabra reports in the United States were simply coyotes infected with the parasite Scrotomus scabii, Sarcophagus scabiei, it's mange, guys, whose symptoms would explain most of the features of the Chupacabra. They'd be left with little fur, thickened skin, and a rank odor. Rank stank. O'Connor theorized that the attacks on the goat occurred because these animals are greatly weakened. They're going to have a hard time hunting, so they may be forced into attacking livestock because it's easier than running down a rabbit or a deer. Okay, that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
That makes a shit ton of sense because livestock, I mean, even though they're still like wild or whatever, they're domestic. You know, they get fed at certain times.
They're
things
also
like,
fenced in.
Yeah. They don't care.
Literally like for the equivalent would be like shooting fish in a barrel.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Or hitting deer with a car. Although several witnesses came to the conclusion that the attacks cannot be the works of. Although several witnesses came to the conclusion that the attack. Fucking scientists came up with this, guys, and you're still pushing back. Several witnesses came to the conclusion that the attacks cannot be the work of dogs or coyotes because they had not eaten the victim. This conclusion is incorrect. Both dogs and coyotes can kill and not consume the prey, either because they are inexperienced or due to injury or difficulty killing the prey. The prey can survive the attack and die afterward from internal bleeding or circulatory shock. The presence of two holes in the neck corresponding with the canine teeth that are expected since the story, the way the most carnivores have to catch their prey. I like this. We're getting answers a little bit at a time.
Yeah, because like it makes sense why there's no blood at the scene of the death because it happened somewhere else.
My dear Watson, I think you have cracked it. There's no blood there because they didn't get attacked there.
Yeah, they just died there. So, yay, go me.
Jeez, yes.
Crime.
We didn't even have to get out of our lazy chairs to crack this case, guys.
So that's a big cup. Are you talking about?
There are reports of stray Mexican hairless dog. Okay, look, quit blaming the Mexicans for everything. This is why our president's trying to build a freaking wall illegally.
I don't think it's to keep Chupacabra.
He's afraid of the Chupacabra. It's not the illegal immigrants. He thinks the Chupacabra is out there.
I'm pretty sure he's afraid of his own shadow.
Pretty sure he's a lizard person. Have you seen his face and that hair? The reports say that Mexican hairless dogs being mistaken for chupacabras. Appearance: the most common description of the chupacabra is the reptile-like creature, said to have leathery or scaly greenish-gray skin and sharp spines or quills running down its back. Said to be approximately 3 to 4 feet. Okay, this is contradicting itself because the damn thing said it was the size of a bear. I don't know of any 3 or 4 foot bears except Winnie when he's looking for honey.
I don't know, he's pretty terrifying.
It stands and hops in a fashion similar to that of a kangaroo.
Huh.
I wasn't expecting that sentence.
No.
I've never heard of the hippity hoppity hip hop hippity the chippity the chupacabra dop. Blip,
no,
blop.
I haven't heard that one either.
Another common description of the chupacabra is a strange breed of wild dogs, formed usually hairless, blah blah blah. Mainly looks like a thing with mange. Okay, we've beat that to death. So mange is a thing.
The kangaroo one kind of threw me through because I'm used to I've heard the lizard the spiny description and the other one. I haven't. That one's new. Is that the Outback version or
it has? It's been. I want to hear the sightings that are in the other Maine, Pennsylvania. Those were the other ones that came up. Is it the same version? And you know what? It gets colder up there more often than it does down here. So, like, I don't know if the global warming thing still makes sense for what's coming out of
Well, I was going to say, it makes sense for
there.
everything. I mean, because of climate change, stuff like that, the extreme cold is going to be more extreme, and the extreme heat is going to be more extreme. It's more extremes on either side. That's why I hate...
So mostly they're attributing this to coyotes and coyote attacks. I know coyotes are big in the Southwest. I don't know how far north I know it goes Utah, that kind of area over in there, and then I know it goes all the way up into like Wyoming and that. So I guess Pennsylvania, Maine, all that. There's still going to be coyotes running around up there, or it could be wolves with mange, because you got the wolves coming down from Canada and they're coming back into Wyoming to the national park.
They don't get shot to death.
That makes me sad.
It makes me very sad. We need wolves.
Yeah, we need wolves. Don't shoot them. Don't hit them with your Chevy Cobalt.
Well, good thing I don't drive a Cobalt anymore.
Oh, okay. How many points have you racked up on the Nissan?
Just the one.
You've hit something with your new car? I was kidding.
No.
What did you fucking hit?
Bird.
How do you have a license?
Why do birds keep running into my car?
I don't know. You have to have like some kind of device, or your car has to be emanating some kind of sound or something that just
Then why is it every car I've ever had?
I don't. It's got to be you. It's got to be some pheromone or smell that you give off. I don't know.
Maybe I emit my own magnetic field and it's like messing with their migratory patterns and they keep flying into my car.
You're the cause of global warming. You and the 1992 Pontiac Thunderbird.
I like how the year keeps changing.
Well, shut up. We're pretty behind on comments. Let's see what's going on. Right, middle note. Don't run after being stabbed. Yeah, that's a thing. Because, even if you have the proper amount of blood still in your body, if you start running, you're going to pump blood out of your stab hole. And the one place you don't want blood to go is out of the stab hole.
Yeah,
because then they'll find you dead in a weird place and there won't be any blood around. And then we'll be talking about you on the podcast. I'm back at the aliens and car wash. I have no idea what that even means right there. James says cupping can be used over the puncture wound and collect the blood after the vacuum is created. Yeah, you can do that. But, I don't think other, we're trying to take the human element out of it when we were talking about it. Like, how can this happen in nature? How are you just going to find this thing happen? And it's not somebody hoaxing. And it's a misidentification of mangy, sick animal attacks lazy, healthy animal, doesn't quite finish the job. Lazy, healthy animal tries to get away, dies somewhere where the blood loss didn't happen.
Yeah. I mean, that
I like it.
Makes the most sense.
We see that in human cases. I mean, that's why we have forensics. Like, this person didn't die here.
Yeah.
Or however that show goes.
This person's running on empty.
Yeah. Oh, God. I need to start wearing sunglasses on our cases so I can do that during the live.
Okay, well, we do our cases at night, and normally douchebags wear their sunglasses.
I wear my sunglasses at night. Okay. Being a smart ass. I thought it was the same thing. Then he explained. I was like, they used to call the procedure where they would have all the blades cut you and bleed. Oh! I know what she's talking. Yeah, they would bleed you or whatever to try to make you healthy to get the.
Got to get the blood out, the bad blood out.
The Thadians, the same thing for Scientology. They bleed you out and put the anal vacuum on you to get the Thadians. Thetans. What does it matter? They're made up. Who cares if I call it by the real thing? I don't know if we got any Scientologists watching. If you are, you're weird. Thetans, yeah. But, Dead air. I love it. Okay. I can do it with regular ass glasses, but it wouldn't be as cool. Yeah, because then you just look like you're looking into the sun because you can't see anymore. Oh my God, I saw this really cool picture of it, totally not related to anything paranormal, but it blew my mind. somebody showed a picture of like lights at night and what they look like, and the caption for it was, "This is what lights look like to people with an astigmatism." And I realized that's not what they look like to everybody.
I'd have to see that.
It freaked me out. It's like a lens flare thing. I'll show you, but I was like, well, I mean, I knew I had an astigmatism or
Astigmatism.
that thing, but I was looking at the picture and I was like, oh shit, I didn't realize like that looked like that because of that, and yeah, it like wigged me out. So I need to go back and get new glasses.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make an appointment next week. Really large vampire bat from Journey to the Center of the Earth. Haven't seen the movie, but I've seen the procedure on YouTube. I don't know what they're talking about. I like Journey to the Center of the Earth, especially the one with Brendan Fraser. Have you seen what happened to Brendan Fraser? It's sad.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
And it is sad because he's apparently like a really nice person.
I'm sure he is, but oh my gosh. And he plays Robot Man now. But then it like flashed over to like how he became and I was like, what happened to Brendan Fraser? Ooh, that divorce the divorce hit him hard. I think his like
his wife bled him out.
Yeah.
His wife's a chupacabra.
Yes. Tie back. I love the callback. Brendan Fraser's ex-wife is the Chupacabra. She sanguinated Brendan Fraser, and now he's Robot Man.
Well, I was about to say she drained his bank account. I don't know.
I mean, he looks broken. He looks like he's seen the Chupacabra, for sure.
Probably has.
I have lens flares too. Okay, anyway, we got way off track. So, final thoughts on the Chupacabra. You still think it's a thing?
I want it to be.
There are a lot of explanations, though.
Yeah, there is. I mean, there's a lot of very logical explanations to how these animals are dying and what is causing all of this.
I mean, everything that's caught on film doesn't look fake. It looks like a creature thing, but the thing is,
it's a creature thing with mange.
It's not always like any mammal can get mange. And I'm sure there's like similar diseases for non-mammals too. And so, just having, and that's why video evidence isn't always.
I don't know. I think
isn't always the evidence.
If we were able to get footage of the Puerto Rican Chupacabra, like how they describe it with the spines and the lizard type thing, then yeah, I'd probably be more inclined to believe it, as opposed to like just a coyote with mange. Or, did you find something? So, I don't know. It makes me sad because I want it to be real. I think the Chupacabra is cool. And I just like the legend. What?
Yeah, they can't hear it. I haven't unmuted
Oh,
it yet.
Okay.
It's fine. Yes, okay, so you want the Puerto Rican Chupacabra? Here it is.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Man, that did not age well.
Natasha Henstridge is a good guy in Species 2?
Huh.
So there's that's the Chupa. That's the Chupacabra.
Thank you.
That's the Cabra.
Thank you for clearing that right now.
Michael Madsen has not aged well either.
No, he has not.
He's worse than Brendan Fraser, dude. He's seen the Cabra. Every actor that's coming in contact with a Cabra is just like really fat.
Think you're on to something.
Just apparently just sanguinated their careers. But okay, so all the footage out there, they're mange animals.
Yeah.
Right?
There's, I mean, basically what it all comes down to is they're sick.
Yeah,
They're just sick animals that need to be taken care of.
The sanguination evidence is almost 100% busted unless there's a case, unless somebody can produce a case out there where something has been sanguinated. I can't say that word enough. It just rolls off the tongue. I love it.
Exsanguinated.
Yeah. And it's confirmed by the proper test that it's actually been bled dry. Then those are busted too, because it's just hearsay. It's like, oh, it lost a lot of blood. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing as if you stab me in the side and I lose all my blood. That's not having all my blood sucked out. That's I bled to death.
You bled out. And so, but my thing is, like, why are these animals not covered in blood still? Like, even if they're, like, being cut or hurt or something.
So,
shouldn't they be covered in blood?
If I have to throw a guess out there, no, because the thing is they're getting bitten in their vital spots, like, around, like, arteries and things like that. Yeah, but they would
still, like...
The blood would spray out.
But they would still be covered in blood, like, blood spatter.
But if the report of them being completely drained of blood wasn't accurate, is the report that they're not covered in blood accurate? We have a problem with that's what I'm saying. There's a breakdown in the reporting of the story in a lot of these cases, even if it's respected.
But like
because
in all
a lot
the
of it's
pictures,
word
so
of
like,
mouth.
are these people cleaning these animals up before like they get
they're
pictures
cleaning
of
them up? But I think the description that gets kind of like thrown around is.
But I'm talking about like photo evidence. I'm talking about like animal pictures of these animals as they're found. They're not covered in blood. They're not. You see the holes where they've been punctured, but that's where my frustration comes in. Because, like, I want to believe that, like, something is attacking them and then they're moving because it's just, I'm going to be just flustered.
Julie said maybe they were licked clean. Like if the animal couldn't consume them, but, you know, just...
Lick the blood off of them? I don't know. But that's going to get me for the rest of my life.
I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've given my cat tuna for it just to lick all the juice up and leave all the dry tuna there. Yeah. Completely untouched. Yeah. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, okay.
Maybe let's put, there's a million, we say this about ghosts almost every episode. There's a million explanations it could be before it's paranormal.
I know, but I'm just trying to figure out why
I know, you're making a case for it. I like it. I want the Chupathingy to be real. I also want to own an ocelot.
Yeah, they're cool. Yeah, they're pretty cool.
I also want to own a 1994 Pontiac Thunderbird. Yeah. But the 6-cylinder, not the 8-cylinder.
Look up the goddamn Thunderbird.
Okay.
Before I'm telling you, man. It's real, man. No, Catherine was wondering if there's like an animal CSI. Dude, there should be. And Casey also said he is pretty like model. I'm not sure if... I can't remember. I was talking about Brendan Fraser. I hate you. I hate you so bad right now. Don't you fucking...
I found it. I found the documentary on the Thunderbird.
I hate you. God. Oh man, it has those old lights.
God, I want that car.
It's...
Here we I was wondering what was going on.
They don't make car commercials like they used to.
We invited Mazda, Acura, Porsche, all car companies to compare their sports cars with our new Firebird formula to see who can match.
Yeah, that's a
our
Firebird, not a
Thunderbird. Dude, I've been wrong. This entire episode, Ford made the Thunderbird.
Yeah. We were both wrong.
let me look up the real Thunderbird Discovery. Let me do like a quick little search here.
Your mom got it right.
Well, she's as old as the Thunderbird, so you know.
The Native American legend.
Yes.
Thunderbird.
She came here in a covered wagon. So, there is that. Okay, so...
Ooh, viewer discretion is advised.
Oh, God, let's just watch this together.
Thunderbird! Ah!
Tingly
right out
now.
of a horror movie.
Yeah! Thunderbird!
Bird carrying a boy 30 feet.
The wings must have been more than 25 feet.
We're going on an adventure, you guys. And the Thunderbird.
Is the form of a supernaturally large bird. The flapping of its wings were said to cause thunder. That's a big damn bird, dude. Well, we'll have to dedicate a whole episode to the Thunderbird because
I'm
it sounds
telling
like
you, man.
it sounds like they found it.
Sounds like maybe it might have been a real bird that went extinct. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the freaking 30-foot wingspan—that's an albatross, easy. And
I don't think
that's
it's
a real
like
thing.
it's either that or it's closely related to like a condor.
Right, no, I get what you're saying. I'm just saying there's a comparable bird out there in the world.
Well,
like,
I mean,
we
I was
know
about to
they've
say
got
like
that
I mean,
big.
this is more of a plains animal, and albatross is more of a seabird, and they don't eat people.
Listen, animal killer. I was just saying that there is a common thing I know of that exists in nature that is easily that freaking size. I wasn't necessarily saying that they were related. Looks like this animal is bone dry. It takes off glare. Next on Animal CSI. Yes, that's
Nice.
We can put that
Very
together.
nice. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, we need. Okay, so apparently we need to cover the Thunderbird. And since you brought it up, do you want to be on that show?
Yeah,
Guess you
yeah.
want. I guess you're.
Thunderbird.
I guess I need to update you to our cryptozoologist.
Thunderbird.
And mechanic.
No, don't ever come beyond mechanic detail.
I don't know. Chupathingy. So. It's still not busted for you? It's busted
No,
for
it's
me.
busted. It's busted. I want to believe. I want it to be real, but I know it's not. I'm just sad.
I don't know. I haven't. Yeah, to me, it's busted, and I'm open to look at any evidence that somebody would give us. But the thing is it's just going to fall into these weird categories of it's just misrepresented, misspotted.
It's more than likely just a sick animal.
Yeah,
You know.
and. I hate saying fake news, but the thing is like a lot of those stories are just really, really exaggerated, even from good sources, because they're playing telephone with it. I don't think it's misreporting. I think it's just that the details aren't all there. It's the same thing with Roswell. There's a lot of misreporting and armchair. Like us,
Armchair detectives.
Yeah, just going through it. We are better armchair detectives that don't jump to conclusions.
Yeah. I mean, it's still going to bother me about the blood, but I mean, it's just, I do agree that it is busted. I just, it makes me sad.
Why isn't the animal covered in blood?
Yeah. So, I mean, it just,
Well,
it makes
that's
me
good. That's good. I didn't see any reports that said that the animal wasn't covered in blood, though.
But a lot of the pictures that I've seen, they weren't.
Okay.
So, like, I'm like,
Well,
that's why
we can examine further on some of those and then maybe come up with that.
So, I don't know. It makes me sad because I know the Chupacabra is kind of one of my favorites. So it's still gonna be one of my favorites. I mean, even though
we
it's not
grew
real.
up with it.
Even though it's not real.
But it's just so weird that it's not as old as I thought it was. I thought it was this like ancient, like I thought it went back like to the Mayans, like there were carvings of the Chupacabra on the insides of the pyramids, and it turns out it's like
there were reports about it when we were like 9.
It's like no, the Chupacabra is Miramax is older,
Yeah,
it's like what?
Or, I mean, hell, Nintendo's older.
I don't know. Is it busted enough for you that if somebody called us to come investigate a chupacabra, would we go out and investigate the chupacabra? Or would we be like, just call animal control?
I mean, I'd still want to go out and look for it.
Man,
but...
that's because you're just nosy. That's your problem. You're like, finally, somebody else hit an animal.
No, yeah, I'd want to check it out, but I mean, more than likely, it's something different. It's not a chupacabra.
You're just addicted to death.
I am not addicted to death.
What is your chosen profession?
My chosen profession? My chosen profession was crime scene.
That's all for our show, people.
But my actual profession is I repo cars.
That's the death of somebody's finances. Repo car. Hold on. You do see the irony here, correct?
No. What?
You, in your relationship with cars, who are you to deny somebody else their relationship with their 1997 Ford Thunderbird? Just because they're a few dollars behind. You're a horrible human being.
You know how many... Okay, first of all, you have to be like 3 months behind.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Bye. Bye.